Rome produced some of the most powerful figures the world has ever seen. Emperors who commanded massive armies, ruled millions of people, and shaped an empire that lasted for centuries. When people think about Rome, they usually imagine marble statues, disciplined legions, and powerful rulers sitting on golden thrones. But some of Rome's darkest battles were never fought on the battlefield. They happened behind palace doors. One of the most disturbing power struggles in Roman history unfolded between a mother and her own son. The son was Nero, one of Rome's most infamous rulers. The mother was Agrippina the Younger, a woman determined to place her son on the throne of the Roman Empire. Their relationship began as a partnership built on ambition. But over time it turned into fear, rivalry, and eventually murder. Today we're exploring how a mother helped create an emperor, and how that same emperor ultimately destroyed her. Before we begin, make sure you like the video, share it with fellow history lovers, drop a comment with your city and country, and subscribe to the channel for more hidden stories from history. Now let's step into the dangerous world of Imperial Rome. Long before Nero became emperor, Agrippina had already survived the brutal world of Roman politics. She belonged to the powerful Julio-Claudian dynasty. Her brother was Caligula, one of Rome's most notorious rulers. Living through his reign taught her one lesson. In Rome, survival depended on power. After years of exile, Agrippina returned with a clear plan. Women could not rule Rome directly, but they could rule through their sons. Her son Nero would become her path to power. At that time, Rome was under the rule of Claudius, who, interestingly, was both Agrippina's uncle and later became her husband. But you see, Claudius already had an heir, his son, Britannicus. Now, according to historians such as Tacitus and Suetonius, Agrippina orchestrated a rather sinister plot, arranging for Claudius to be poisoned with toxic mushrooms, prepared by the infamous poisoner Locusta. Claudius died as a result, and not long after, Nero ascended to the throne at just 16 years old. Agrippina had, in fact, achieved her goal. In the early years of Nero's reign, the real power, it didn't actually rest with the young emperor himself. Instead, it belonged to his mother, Agrippina. She attended political meetings, influenced important decisions, and honestly expected Nero to follow her every command. Roman coins even depicted both of them side by side, which really highlighted just how much influence she had. But as time went on, Nero was growing older, and emperors, as you might guess, rarely accept being controlled forever. Tension began to mount when Nero started a relationship with Claudia Acte, who had once been a slave. Agrippina viewed this new relationship as a serious threat to her control over her son. Arguments inside the palace became a constant occurrence. The once powerful alliance between mother and son slowly transformed into a bitter rivalry. As Nero's resentment grew, he began looking for ways to eliminate his mother. His first plan was poison. But Agrippina was cautious and, experienced in Roman politics. Ancient sources claim she regularly took small doses of poison to build resistance. If the story is true, the plan failed. Agrippina survived. Nero then tried something far more elaborate. He ordered engineers to build a ship designed to collapse and sink during a voyage, making her death appear to be an accident. Agrippina boarded the ship. The trap was triggered, but once again she survived and managed to swim to safety. When Nero learned she was still alive, the situation became clear. There was no longer any room for subtlety. Nero made the final decision to end it directly. He sent soldiers to Agrippina's villa, led by the naval officer Anicetus. This time there would be no hidden traps. The soldiers entered her home during the night. According to ancient accounts, Agrippina did not beg for mercy. Instead, she reportedly gave one final command to the soldier about to strike. She told him to strike her womb, the womb that had given birth to Nero. With that, Agrippina was killed, ending one of Rome's most disturbing family conflicts. Agrippina's death did not stabilize Nero's rule. Instead, it marked the beginning of his decline. Soon after, Nero's half-brother Britannicus died suddenly. Later, Nero ordered the execution of his wife, Claudia Octavia. His rule became, well, increasingly erratic and controversial. His reign would later be linked to the Great Fire of Rome, which destroyed much of the city and honestly fueled anger against him. Eventually, Nero lost the support of both the Roman Senate and the military. In 68 AD, abandoned and facing rebellion, the emperor took his own life. The story of Nero and Agrippina is more than just a political assassination. It shows how ambition within powerful families could shape the fate of an empire. Agrippina helped create an emperor, but the ruthless world she built around him also shaped the ruler Nero would become. When power becomes the only goal, loyalty disappears, and even family bonds collapse. Rome witnessed many brutal struggles for power, but the conflict between Nero and Agrippina remains, honestly, one of the most disturbing. History is full of stories that rarely appear in textbooks, and the dark relationship between Nero and Agrippina is, well, definitely one of them. If you enjoy uncovering hidden stories from ancient civilizations, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with fellow history lovers. And before you go, drop a comment telling us your city and country. Do you think Nero was shaped by his mother's ambition, or was he always destined to become one of Rome's most infamous emperors?